I let my brother stay with us after his breakup. He said he needed space and family support. I walked in one night and found him shirtless on the couch, next to my wife and one of my hoodies. I asked what was going on. She said, "It's not what it looks like." He just said, "Sorry, man." I said nothing. But that night, I packed everything I owned and left them a note. "You two deserve each other. And the mortgage." My name is Mark, 38, from Dayton, Ohio. I've been married to Rachel, 35, for 6 years. We bought a house together 3 years ago. I work in IT and she's a nurse. We've had our ups and downs, but I thought we were solid. My younger brother, Jake, 34, went through a messy breakup with his girlfriend of 5 years. He called me, sounding broken. "I just need a place to crash for a bit, man. I need space and family support." Rachel and I discussed it. She was hesitant but agreed. We set up the guest room for him. At first, everything seemed fine. Jake was quiet, kept to himself. But then, I started noticing things. Jake and Rachel started spending more time together. They'd watch movies late at night, cook meals together. I brushed it off, thinking they were just bonding. One day, I came home early and found them laughing in the kitchen. Rachel quickly changed the subject when she saw me. Jake looked uncomfortable. I started feeling like a stranger in my own home. The atmosphere was tense. One night, I had to work late. When I got home around midnight, the house was dark except for the living room light. I walked in and saw Jake shirtless on the couch, next to Rachel, who was wearing one of my hoodies. "What's going on?" I asked. Rachel looked startled. "It's not what it looks like," Jake just said. "Sorry, man." I didn't say anything. I went upstairs, packed my things, and left a note on the kitchen table. "You two deserve each other. And the mortgage." I moved into a small apartment across town. Rachel called and texted, but I ignored her. Jake tried reaching out too. A week later, I filed for divorce. Rachel was served the papers at work. She showed up at my apartment crying. It was a mistake. I was lonely. You were always working. I closed the door on her. Reddit+1 Jake sent me a long email, apologizing. He said he was drunk, that it meant nothing. I didn't respond. I couldn't let it go. They betrayed me. I decided to hit them where it hurt. Reddit. I knew Rachel had always dreamed of opening her own clinic. She had been saving money for years. I also knew she had a secret. She had been underreporting her income to avoid taxes. I gathered all the evidence and reported her to the IRS. An audit was launched. She was fined heavily and had to pay back taxes. Jake had started dating someone new. I found out she was a devout Christian. I sent her an anonymous message with screenshots of Jake's texts to Rachel. She dumped him immediately. It's been a year. Rachel lost her job due to the tax issues. Jake moved back in with our parents. I've started dating again. After the IRS audit, Rachel's life went downhill fast. I didn't feel bad. She made her bed. What I didn't expect was for her to drag my name into the mess. I got a call one morning from a guy at the IRS. "Sir, we need clarification on a joint account you shared with Rachel Lewis. There are flagged transactions under your name." That's when I realized she never removed my name from one of the old savings accounts. I hadn't touched it in years, but she used it for her clinic funds, and probably for her shady write-offs. Now I had to hire a lawyer. I met with my attorney, Carol, a tough woman who didn't mess around. "If she tries to pin anything on you, we'll prove otherwise. But you need to stay sharp." So I dug deeper. I pulled old statements, emails, and even messages Rachel had sent me back when she first opened the account. And that's when I found something else. A text from months before the breakup. From Jake. "Rach said you're always working. If you ever want to talk, I'm here." It was sent to her personal phone. She must have backed it up to our shared cloud by mistake. So the betrayal started earlier than I thought. Rachel tried to argue in court that some of the debt was mine, that I benefited from her income. I sat across from her in the courtroom, stunned. Jake was there too, sitting in the back, looking like a ghost. My lawyer shredded her. We showed the court proof she'd lied on tax forms. That she used our old account without telling me. That she was living with my brother when the audit started. I got a clean break. She got slapped with another penalty for perjury. Jake didn't even look at me when it was over. I walked right past both of them without saying a word. But the drama didn't end there. 2 months later, I got a call from my mother. She sounded upset. Jake's in trouble again. He got fired. Something about stealing equipment from the warehouse. It was always the same story with him. First it was my wife. Now this. I kept my mouth shut. Then Rachel showed up at my work. Security had to escort her out. She was yelling that I ruined her life. That I turned Jake against her. That I was a cold bastard. But the thing is, I hadn't said a word to Jake since I left that house. They were doing just fine ruining each other without my help. 2 weeks after the incident at work, I got another call. This time, from Rachel's sister, Nicole. I hadn't spoken to her in years. Mark, you need to know something. Rachel's pregnant. She says it's Jake's. But she also told my mom it might be yours. I felt my stomach drop. I hadn't touched Rachel in the last 2 months before I walked out. But now she was dragging me into a paternity circus? Nicole wasn't calling to start drama. She was pissed. She's a mess, Mark. She's been staying with friends, crying all the time, saying she doesn't know who to trust. She even told my mom she's thinking of suing you for emotional distress. I didn't say anything. I was too stunned. The next day, Jake called me. For the first time since the courtroom. We need to talk. Face to face. I agreed to meet him at a diner halfway between our places. He looked rough. Skinny. Eyes baggy. Like someone who hadn't slept in days. She says she's pregnant. He muttered. I heard. She says it might be yours. I looked him in the eye. It's not. He nodded, but then his face twisted. I think she's lying. I think she's trying to trap both of us. I don't even think she's really pregnant. I didn't trust either of them anymore. But something felt off. So I hired a private investigator. 2 weeks later, I had answers. Rachel wasn't pregnant. She'd faked a test, used an old photo from the internet, edited her name into it. The PI found her shopping at a liquor store the same day she told Nicole she was throwing up from morning sickness. It was all a scam. But what made me sick to my stomach was this part. Jake was in on it. The PI got pictures of them meeting late at night, talking in a car for hours. Once, Jake even handed her a thick envelope. Cash. They were trying to build a case to sue me for emotional abuse, financial neglect, and whatever else they could dream up. But they didn't know I was 3 steps ahead. I had already contacted another lawyer. I was documenting everything. Instead of confronting them, I set a trap of my own. I called Jake and said I wanted to make things right. Let's meet. Just talk. No drama. He agreed. We met at the same diner. I had a recorder in my jacket pocket. I led him into a conversation. Let him talk about Rachel. The lies. The fake pregnancy. The plan. He admitted everything. She said if we both push it, we could get money out of you. Said you'd settle just to get us out of your life. I didn't want to, man. But I needed the money. That was all I needed. I forwarded the audio to my lawyer and filed a restraining order the next day. Against both of them. I sent Nicole the evidence, too. She cut Rachel off. Told their whole family the truth. Rachel was publicly humiliated. Jake was shunned by our family. Even our dad, who used to defend him no matter what, told him not to come home for Thanksgiving. They didn't just lose me. They lost everyone. And I was just getting started. After I dropped the audio bomb and filed the restraining orders, things got quiet for a while. Too quiet. Then, one night, around 1:30 a.m., my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole. No one there. Then I saw it. A smear of something on my car windshield. Raw eggs. Dozens of them. My tires had been slashed. Windshield cracked. Homewrecker, keyed into the hood. I knew exactly who did it. But I didn't call the cops. Not yet. Instead, I checked the security cameras I'd had installed after Rachel's workplace stunt. The footage was crystal clear, Jake in a hoodie, glancing around like an amateur before doing the damage. I sent the footage to the police. Jake was arrested 3 days later. Vandalism, harassment, violation of a protective order. He cried in court. Claimed it was a mistake. That he was drunk and confused. But the judge wasn't having it. This isn't confusion. This is retaliation. Jake got 60 days in county and community service after that. A record. Finally. Rachel posted bail. She tried to spin it, said I was driving Jake insane with guilt. Like it was my fault. But it didn't end there. About a week after Jake's sentencing, I received a manila envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside, a single letter. It was handwritten. From Rachel. I know you think you've won. But I'm not the only one who made mistakes. You think people don't talk. But they do. She mentioned someone named Melissa. I stared at the name. That was a girl I dated briefly years ago, before Rachel, during college. It was nothing serious. We'd broken up after a few months. But Rachel hinted there was more. She said Melissa had reached out to her online after seeing a Facebook post years ago, claiming I cheated on Rachel with her. It wasn't true. But Rachel believed it. That's when things changed, her letter said. That's when I stopped trusting you. I didn't cheat first. You did. The thing was, Rachel never confronted me about this. She let it fester. Built a whole fantasy of betrayal in her mind and used it as an excuse to burn everything down. So the revenge she thought I deserved was based on a lie. I tracked down Melissa. She was married now, living in Michigan. She was shocked when I called. Said she'd never contacted Rachel. I haven't thought about you in 15 years. Why would I do that? I told her what was in the letter. She was furious. She made that up. She's trying to rewrite history. That confirmed it. Rachel hadn't just lied. She poisoned herself with her own lies until she believed them. Jake never stood a chance. She twisted his loyalty, fed him a fake narrative, and used him as a weapon. And when it backfired, she doubled down. But I wasn't going to let her rewrite the ending. With everything exposed, the lies, the schemes, the fake pregnancy, the vandalism, I had the upper hand. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted a clean slate. And that meant getting rid of every last tie to both of them. I called my lawyer again. Asked her to finalize a civil suit against Jake for property damage and harassment. I wasn't after money. I was after something that would follow him for years. She filed it. Jake didn't even show up to the hearing. The judge ruled in my favor. Jake now owed me over $12,000. I knew he couldn't pay it. That wasn't the point. I also forwarded all the PI's documentation and footage of Rachel's fake pregnancy scam to the nursing board. A month later, she lost her license. Permanently. She tried to appeal, but the board wasn't interested. Her file was too messy. She'd falsified a pregnancy, attempted legal manipulation, and coordinated a financial scam. They didn't care about her tears. Rachel moved in with her sister. Nicole called me not long after. She's not right in the head, Mark. I caught her writing letters to herself, like she's still married to you. She's talking to empty rooms. Jake was couch surfing, working part-time under the table, trying to avoid his debts. Word got around that he was unstable. Nobody wanted to hire him. Our parents stopped talking to him completely. They sent me a card that Christmas. Just me. We were wrong about Jake. You didn't deserve what happened. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready. I wasn't sure I ever would be. 8 months later, I got another letter. This one was from Jake. I know I ruined everything. I'm broke. Alone. I wish I could undo it. Rachel's worse than ever. She talks about you every day. Like you're still hers. You're the only person who ever treated me like a brother. And I ruined that. He said he was checking himself into a clinic. Mental health. He said he didn't expect forgiveness. I didn't answer that one either. I sold the last of my stuff from that house, photos, some old furniture, things Rachel picked out. I got rid of all of it. Started fresh. I met someone new. Her name's Holly. She's nothing like Rachel. She's steady. Honest. Doesn't play games. I told her everything on our third date. I didn't sugarcoat it. She didn't flinch. Sounds like you got dragged through hell. But you walked out. That says more than anything. I still have the note I left Rachel and Jake the night I left. It's framed in my office now. You two deserve each other. And the mortgage. Turns out, they didn't deserve even that. They lost everything. And I didn't even have to raise my voice. I just walked away and let the truth do the work.